Good evening and welcome to Undaunted, bringing into the news untold stories. I'm Star Smart. Let's begin. In the fight for the liberation of Southern Cameroon's Ambazonia, seems to have come to a stage where enablers can be ignored. It is just a reminder that all La Republic du Cameroon's organized activities and ceremonies in Amazonia are banned, and such a day is declared a lockdown in solidarity with the fallen heroes of the land. Although there are individual efforts towards ousting La Republic du Cameroon from the Federal Republic of Amazonia, Monday Ghost Towns is the one collective move by the entire southern Cameroon's Amazonia to demonstrate loyalty to the fight of independence. Evidence that the Amazonian fight for independence is a united front and divinely ordained since the institution of Monday Ghost Towns in 2017. The people of Amazonians have never demonstrated recalcitrance towards it. Well, we'll take a look at the outcomes of this Sacred Day in Amazonia in the full briefings of Undaunted tonight. But before that, we'll get the prime headlines.
All right, these are the prime headlines for today. Crime wave gains another ground in La Republic, the Cameroon political capital, Yaoundé. Also today, Presbyterian church pastor struck to death by lightning in Bui County. 5 students in Amba captivity for nearly 2 months in Bui County. Also today, Ambazonians adapt comfortably with Monday's ghost town. In sports, Tottenham manager leaves after 16 months in charge. Now let's get the news in detail.
The media greatly influences society. They inform people about what is happening. It permeates people's lives by creating their own criteria and opinions. In this way, the media moves the masses, creating different social movements.
For over 60 years, the people of Ambazonia were deprived of such privileges. The privilege to enhance their own criteria and opinion. They have suffered cultural genocide for 6 long decades, but not in this age and not with Undaunted ABC Amber News on board.
You must understand that wars are fought and won in the media. The speed of the revolution on Ambazonia's quest for freedom cannot be explained without highlighting the diligent use of the media.
Franco-Cameroon colonizers, among other strategic moves, weaponized the media against Ambazonia for so long, and they continue to do so even today. The question would be, how much do the oppressed people of Ambazonia need to counter the media rage?
How much more is required to stop the genocide? The carnage in Amazonia didn't start today. In 1961, 1972, 1984, and 1992, Amazonians were slaughtered in huge numbers and help was not forthcoming. Why? Because the oppressor was the piper in the media.
The good news is we have what it takes to dictate the pace.
Right now, ABC Amba TV is taking advantage of the wonders of multimedia aggressively
to inform the misinformed and disinformed with Undaunted and other revolutionary programs bringing it to the news untold stories.
Most importantly, to win the media war by taking ABC Amba TV into every multimedia platform.
In a word, where the importance of storytelling can never be overemphasized, Amazonians has to tell her own story, not the other way round.
And like we say it always, Amazonia must narrate her story accurately. We can do this together, you know, right? You are just a click away. Visit our website at www.abcambertv.com, and the steps are quite simple.
With just a click on the website, you can become a club member with so many benefits.
You can also make a one-time donation, advertise and showcase your goods and services at the marketplace on the website.
That was easy, right? You're welcome on board.
And thank you for opting for the winning team.
First of its kind to see a man of God killed by thunder and lightning. Well, sad news, reaching Undaunted says Reverend Abe Agange, the pastor of the Presbyterian Church in Cameroon, is reportedly to have been struck to death by lightning in Boye County. Reverend Abe was in charge of the Menzam parish in Boye Presbytery of the Northern Zone. The incident, which took place on Wednesday, March 22nd, was confirmed by the moderator of the Presbyterian Church in Cameroon, the Right Reverend Funky Samuel Foba. Now, this is where we begin the full briefings of Undaunted tonight. How are you doing, sir?
Oh, very well, Onyi. Good evening, Ambazonians. Right Reverend Funky Samuel revealed in a statement that the sudden and unfortunate death of Reverend Abe Ngange of Menzem Parish Boyi Presbyterian was caused by a lightning. Undaunted source intimated that the corpse of the deceased pastor has been deposited at the Sishong Catholic Hospital mortuary in Bowie County pending burial arrangements. May his soul rest in peace.
All right, and moving on. One day and no night passes without heinous crimes committed here and there. Uncertainty, the fear of the unknown, kidnappings, killings have found fertile ground in La Republic de Cameroon's political capital that has been emptying chills day and night. The number of crimes that are orchestrated every 24 hours is alarming. Hotspots, all the nerve centers include Mimbomem, Mvem, Avenue Kennedy.
Well, where kidnappings, assaults, torture, assassinations are commonplace, those who roam the streets of the neighborhoods mentioned above no longer know at which hour fortunes can turn. This is colonial La Republique du Cameroon's political capital, which only yesterday was considered the most secured city in the country. Today, the advent of this phenomenon embarrasses the whole country.
How can so many crimes be committed in such a city without a powerful reaction from the public authorities? Early today morning, the colonial authorities descended on Avenue Kennedy, hitherto a no-go zone area. dismantling every hideout to see if peace can return and denizens go about their businesses without fear. May their initiative expand to other places, we ask.
Well, also in the fight for the liberation, southern Cameroon's Amazonia had passed the stage that enablers can be ignored nor allowed a place in Amazonia. It is just to remind you that all our Republic of Cameroon's organized activities and ceremonies in Amazonia obviously are barred, and such a day is declared lockdown in solidarity of the fallen heroes of the land. February 11th celebration that has been tagged Youth Day celebration are prohibited in Amazonia, and no Amazonian should be part of it, the celebration, as has been the case. But others, due to whatever reason, have decided to take it upon themselves to violate the others, and no matter the reason, Amazonians do not think the reason is good enough to betray the motherland. Some students believed to have taken part on the February 11th, 2023 Colonial Youth Day celebrations were taken by Amazonian fighters of Bowie County on the 12th of February 2023, and they are still yet to be released. But the first question, before any other question, is why would a student decide to violate the law of the land in joining the enemy in such an illegal celebration?
Five students taken by separatist fighters in Boyi County of the Savannah zone of Ambazonia are still to regain their liberty over 1 month since they were taken for allegedly participating in Youth Day celebrations on February 11, 2023. Six students of Government Bilingual High School, Kumbo, were abducted on February 12th, and one of them was later released, but the whereabouts of five others are still unknown. It is alleged that the students are being held at the separatist hideout at Nkombi in Kikiaikom. Among the missing students is a 16-year-old girl, as reported.
Well, their parents are distressed and demanding their immediate release. And the parents have all denied that their children participated in the Youth Day parade, as the separatists claim. And a source continues to tell us that the abducted students have been blackmailed by people whose children have dropped out of school. Before the Youth Day celebrations, Amazonian Restoration Forces imposed a lockdown and warned people from participating in the celebrations, and La Republic du Cameroon organized activity.
Amazonian leaders have routinely enforced a boycott of La Republic du Cameroon organized events in Amazonia since 2017, when the Ambazonian crisis escalated into an armed conflict. Many people who have defiled this order in the past have been sanctioned in different ways.
Well, we'll move on with more of the ghost towns. It is not a thing of Amazonian Restoration Forces, by the way, to kidnap. We know that is like from other factions of Amazonian fighters, but then we do not subscribe to these. But then some people just go the extra mile to put in their implement their rules and regulations governing Amazonia. Well, another report as concerns Ghost Town says, although there are individual efforts towards ousting La Republic du Cameroon from the Federal Republic of Amazonia, Monday Ghost Towns is the one collective move by the entire southern Cameroon's Amazonia to demonstrate loyalty to the fight of independence. However, any other faction choose to go about implementing this particular day will evidence that the Amazonian fight for independence is a united front and divinely ordained. Since the institution of Monday Ghost Towns in 2017, the people of Amazonia have never demonstrated that they do not have faith in it.
Well, rather, they have reorganized their activities to favor the Monday ghost towns. The deserted nature of streets in Bamenda, just like the video you have seen, attests to that fact. Monday, today, March 27, the ghost is very present in Bamenda and on the streets. Even La Republic du Cameroon controlled institutions are grounded to this day. Now, this is a testimonial to the fact that La Republic du Cameroon is gradually losing hold of Amazonia. If not, why are La Republic du Cameroon institutions and offices in Bamenda not open on Mondays?
5 years and counting, Monday Ghost Town is not an issue to the people of Southern Cameroon's way of life. They have tailored and programmed their activities for the sustainability of the Monday's Ghost Town. Undaunted took to the streets of Amanda today, March 27th, to get the temperature of the town as the Ghost Town is concerned. The sweeping conclusion is that Monday Ghost Towns is still very effective.
Well, business people have devised a means to satisfy their customers in need of basic commodities. Petite business holdings in the quarters are very much functional, meaning that even on a Monday ghost town, some basic items can still be acquired. These or those outside of the Amazonian thinking that Monday's ghost town is rather punishing the people of Amazonia. That is not the case. They have reorganized themselves and are very much comfortable with the ghost town.
While others, as gathered by Undaunted, get whatsoever they might but be needed prior to the day, and such groups of people buy or shop on Sundays in preparation for a smooth Monday. Given that this is a farming season, others prefer to farm on as schools going children will be available to assist in the farms on Mondays. The weight of the Mondays is heavy on La Republique du Cameroon institutions. All offices Undaunted visited today were locked, like the water distribution offices at Chase Street in Tarinkon.
As much as the colonial La Republique du Cameroon offices in Bamenda are paralyzed on Mondays, the people of southern Cameroon's Ambazonia are living their lives without any problem.
All right, now we'll take a look at Africa. In West Africa, Nigeria, Kutsi, the Nigerian lawyers, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has budgeted over 3 billion naira to defend the results of the February 25th presidential and national assembly elections and the March 18th governorship and state assembly polls. Recall that several candidates who lost in the elections have filed petitions at the presidential and state elections petitions tribunals to challenge the outcome of the polls.
The presidential candidates of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, the Labour Party, Peter Obi, the Action Alliance, Solomon Okambwem, Allied People's Movement, Chichi Ojei have also filed petition for the nullification of the 2023 presidential elections in Nigeria. INEC had on the first day of March declared the All Progressive Congress presidential candidate, Bola Tinubu, as the winner of the February 25th presidential election, but the five candidates filed petitions seeking their nullification of the poll.
Also, election petition tribunals in over 12 states have equally received petitions from National Assembly candidates who are not satisfied with the results of the just concluded elections. The states where the petitions had been received included Edo, Plateau, Ondo, Kwara, Ogun, Bayelsa, Oyo, Oshun, Ekiti, Bauchi, Lagos, and Niger states. Some aggrieved candidates had protested in Ogun and Nasarawa states, vowing to challenge the results of the elections in court.
Last November, the INEC chairman Mahmoud Yakubu lamented that the commission was handling over 600 cases in several courts across the federation. Speaking at a capacity building workshop for over 300 judges that would handle election disputes, he revealed that the cases pending against the electoral body relates to the conduct of families by political parties.
Well, however, INEC, in its elections project plan for the 2023 general elections, earmarked 3 billion naira for the prosecution of election related cases. The document, which was obtained on Sunday, read in part litigation and prosecution. 2,104,965,000 naira for 2022 and 3 billion naira 87,195,425 for 2023, a total of 5,192,160,425 naira.
Well, the INEC election project plan also showed that the electoral umpire budgeted about 886.2 million naira for legal drafting and clearance in the 2022 and 2023 elections. Now, the commission allocated 337.4 million naira for legal drafting and clearance in the 2022, while 548.7 million naira was budgeted for the same item for 2023 elections. Now, could not confirm the number of lawyers the Electoral Commission would engage to handle the numerous election petition cases lodged at the tribunal. The chief press secretary to the INEC chairman, Rotimi Oyekami, said he did not know the number of solicitors that would be employed by the commission when asked about this.
Well, meanwhile, the NBA president YC Michael San has informed members of the NBA National Executive Council of the association at his quarterly meeting held in Berlin, Kebbi. Kebbi state that he has submitted a list of members of the association who volunteered to assist the electoral umpire with legal services free of charge to INEC. The NBA president further informed the NBA NEC and that INEC was happy for the pro bono offer of legal services from the lawyers.
The NBA president, who initiated the pro bono services as one of the ways the association can help the nation towards a credible pose, explained that the role members of the association will play in defense of INEC is not to defend INEC at all costs, but to offer legal direction in accordance with the justice of each case. But the PDP and the All Progressive Grand Alliance have chartered the commission over the amount budgeted for litigations, saying INEC must be above board.
Well, speaking in a telephone conversation with our correspondent on Sunday, the National Publicity Secretary of the PDP, Debo Ologunagba, urged the media to rise and condemn the wastefulness of INEC. He said Nigerians should ask INEC why they are spending so much to defend election cases. We have condemned the conduct of the 2023 general elections by INEC. The media should rise and condemn the wastefulness of INEC. How can an institution that spent over 300 billion naira for beavers use an extra 3 billion naira for litigations? The expectations was that there would be no crisis of credibility after the deployment of beavers.
Well, similarly, ABGA National Chairman Mr. Victor Oye expressed worry over the huge amount the Commission proposed to spend on the defense of the election it conducted. He says it is very worrisome. He says this shows that there are likely to be more election petitions in 2023 than we had in 2019 election. It is not a good development because this huge amount could have been deployed for more developmental purposes. If elections are gradually acceptable as free, fair, and credible, there would be no need for these number of cases. This calls for INEC to be more reasonable and responsible in the discharge of its constitutional mandate, he submitted.
But the National Publicity Secretary of the All Progressive Congress, Felix Moka, argued that there was nothing extraordinary in INEC's plan to defend itself against the plethora of election petitions and other lawsuits slammed against it. While shying from commenting on the budget involved, Moka maintained that it was within the right of INEC to defend the conduct and outcome of the elections. He said, I don't know anything about their finances or budget for the election petitions litigation. But what I can say is that INEC is the electoral umpire, the agency charged with the duty to conduct elections for Nigeria. That duty extends to litigating or defending any lawsuit arising from that election.
The national chairman of the Labour Party, Julius Abure, however, disagreed with the APC's position on the issue. Abure stated that his party and candidates were not intimidated by INEC's 3 billion naira war chest, which he alleged would eventually end up in private pockets. According to him, he says the Labour Party's presidential candidate, Peter Obi, and all their supporters are optimistic that the judiciary will do the right thing.
Well, he also vowed that Labour Party would pursue its cause for justice to the Supreme Court to reclaim its mandate. He stated, we are all Nigerians and we saw that play out in the last elections. For us, we are determined to pursue the course up to the Supreme Court. Even though a lot of people do not have confidence in the judiciary, I believe once in a while the judiciary can still do the right thing, but we will give them the benefit of the doubt. We are very hopeful and we are sure that if there is a time the judiciary will do the right thing, it has to be from this case. This is because what transpired in the last election is indeed a rape of democracy.
While continuing, Abure noted all the gains of the evolution of democracy since 2015, when the then President Goodluck Jonathan considered all the amendments they had made it electoral acts and other achievements in the electoral process have been eroded and the country took back to the 2007 era. It says this is a period where elections are openly rigged and security operatives won't do anything, a situation where ballot boxes are snatched, voters are suppressed, and where hate speech reigns. It says it is ridiculous to witness all this in the 21st century.
Well, the Labour Party chair reiterated that it was bad enough that the electoral umpire has said it's believed that he says we're not intimidated by whatever money they're planning to use, but of course we know that they would spend the 3 billion naira on litigations because that money will find its way into people's pocket. We know the lawyers in INEC take their salaries from the federal government, and any legal process that the commission is filing is always free. So where do they plan to spend the 3 billion naira? It is another way to steal money. That is the truth of the matter. What INEC has on its hand now are bad cases. No matter the grammar or what they write, it would amount to nothing. It is obvious on election days that the beavers didn't work that day. Were we able to transmit the election results from polling units? How exactly are they going to justify the report that their server shut down and amidst rigging in court? He asked.
Well, on the other hand, Mr. Rotimi Jacobs expressed concern that INEC's budget may not be enough to settle its legal fees because the Commission was a party to all the election petition filed by the candidates and their parties across the country. Well, he said, you know, we have the best electoral act, but we didn't change our attitude. So that's why you see every contestant will challenge the election. And where everybody challenges the election, INEC must be a party. He goes on to say, so I wonder whether that amount will even be able to defend all the election petitions that will be filed all over the country. That's all over Nigeria. If they truly want to pay lawyers, I don't know how that fund will be able to take care of litigation, witnesses, and even other logistics.
Well, another senior lawyer, Afab Osigwe, on his part, stated that INEC was bound by law to defend its conducted elections, adding that the sufficiency or otherwise of the budgeted funds could not be debated. What I'm saying is that INEC is by law to defend elections conducted by it, and in doing that, they will foot the expense of filling processes, food travel expenses of their staff, and then the professional fees of private legal practitioners who may be engaged to defend them in those matters. Oh, well, he goes on to say he will not be able to comment on the sufficiency or otherwise to suggest that the amount is too small or too much. It may well not be enough or they may well not utilize all of it, but court matters entail a lot of.
We the people, ABC Amba TV, Ambazonia Broadcasting Corporation. The voice of the voiceless, the voice of Ambazonia, connecting the world from Africa with untold stories, Africa's best. We the people, ABC Amba TV, Ambazonia Broadcasting Corporation. The voice of the voiceless, the voice of Ambazonia, connecting the world from Africa with untold stories, Africa's best. We the people, ABC Amba TV, Ambazonia Broadcasting Corporation. The voice of the voiceless, the voice of Ambazonia, connecting the world from Africa with untold stories, Africa's best. We the people, ABC Amba TV, Ambazonia Broadcasting Corporation. The voice of the voiceless, the voice of Ambazonia, connecting the world from Africa with untold stories, Africa's best. We the people, ABC Amba TV, Ambazonia Broadcasting Corporation. The voice of the voiceless, the voice of Ambazonia, connecting the world from Africa with untold stories, Africa's best. We the people, ABC Amba TV, Ambazonia Broadcasting Corporation. The voice of the voiceless, the voice of Ambazonia, connecting the world from Africa with untold stories, Africa's best. We the people, ABC Amba TV, Ambazonia Broadcasting Corporation. The voice of the voiceless, the voice of Ambazonia, connecting the world from Africa with untold stories, Africa's best. We the people, ABC Amba TV, Ambazonia Broadcasting Corporation. The voice of the voiceless, the voice of Ambazonia, connecting the world from Africa with untold stories, Africa's best. We the people, ABC Amba TV, Ambazonia Broadcasting Corporation. The voice of the voiceless, the voice of Ambazonia, connecting the world from Africa with untold stories, Africa's best. We the people, ABC Amba TV, Ambazonia Broadcasting Corporation. The voice of the voiceless, the voice of Ambazonia, connecting the world from Africa. Untold stories, Africa's best. The people, ABC Amba TV, Ambazonia Broadcasting Corporation. The voice of the voiceless, the voice of Ambazonia, connecting the world from Africa with untold stories, Africa's best. We the people, ABC Amba TV, Ambazonia Broadcasting Corporation. The voice of the voiceless, the voice of Ambazonia, connecting the world from Africa with stories, Africa's best. We the people, ABC Amba TV, Ambazonia Broadcasting Corporation. Voice of the voiceless, the voice of Amazonia, connecting the world from Africa with Untold Story, Africa's best. We people, ABC Amba TV, Amazonia Broadcasting Corporation, the voiceless, the voice Amazonia, connecting the world from Africa with Untold Story, Africa's best. We the people, ABC Amba TV, Amazonia Broadcasting Corporation, the voice of the voiceless, the voice of Amazonia, connecting the world from Africa with Untold Stories, Africa's best. We the people, ABC Amba TV, Amazonia Broadcasting Corporation, voice, the
All right, you're welcome. Sincerely, and we are here with the news. Now, as the Russia Ukraine war enters its 397th day, we took a look at the main developments so far. Now, after Russian President Vladimir Putin announced the development of tactical nuclear weapons to allies, Belarus, Ukraine has called for an extraordinary meeting for the UN Security Council to take decisive measures to prevent Russia's use of nuclear weapons.
Well, Russia took Belarus as a nuclear hostage. The Secretary of Ukraine's National Security and Defense Council, Oleksiy Danilov, has written on Twitter NATO has condemned the move, blasting it as dangerous and irresponsible. The European Union has warned Belarus against hosting Russia's nuclear weapons, saying it was an irresponsible escalation and threat to European security.
Germany has also condemned Putin's decision, while Lithuania and said it would call for new sanctions against Moscow and Minsk. The United States, however, has reacted cautiously to Putin's move, with a senior administration official saying Washington estimates there are no indications that Russia is preparing to use nuclear weapons.
Well, UN's nuclear watchdog chief Rafael Grossi said on Saturday he will visit the Russian held Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant in Ukraine next week to assess the serious situation there. In the United Kingdom, Ukrainian fans turned a section of London's Wembley Stadium to the blue and yellow of their country's flag as they watched their team play England in an emotional Euro 2024 qualifier.
Choirs from across the world have joined their voices to sing for peace in Ukraine, with nearly 300 singers gathering in Madrid, Spain, where the initiative began a year ago. More than 5,000 former criminals have also been forgiven after finishing their contracts to fight in Russia's Wagner mercenary group against Ukraine. The group's founder, Yevgeny Prigozhin, said this on Saturday. Well, and also, moving on, Russia's president will be in South Africa in August. Well, Russia's president Vladimir Putin will be attending the BRICS summit in August this year, an invitation by the South African government. BRICS is of the world's biggest emerging economics. Brazil, Russia, India, China, and late addition of Africa. The International Criminal Court in The Hague has issued a warrant of arrest for the Russian leader for war crimes stemming from the conflict with Ukraine that started a year ago on the 28th of February 2022.
Well, the ICC warrant means that South Africa, a signatory to the ICC, will be obliged to arrest Mr. Putin and hand him over if he sets foot on South African soil. The war has caused economic suffering around the world and has impacted import, export, and the supply of gas and wheat. Significant political and economic challenges for African countries where the result already reeling from the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. The war between Russia and Ukraine and its economic fallout brought more pain as high food and fuel prices worsened the political instability many countries are facing.
South Africa has remained neutral in its stance on the war, much to the dismay of the US and Brazil's. Analysts have said the flurry of diplomatic risk comes as the West and Russia both seek South Africa's support regarding the war in Ukraine. Historically, the South African government has strong ties with Russia. The country provided a refuge for political exiles during apartheid and providing training and tactical weapons to the Mkonto Wesiwe, the armed wing of the new ruling party of African National Congress, which was during their liberation struggle.
Well, South Africa's International Relations Minister Naledi Pandor has said that the ICC, to which South Africa is a signatory, has not been even-handed as an arbiter in international affairs. Mr. Pandor said, while she has not said the ICC is wrong in issuing the warrant of arrest against Mr. Putin, she expressed deep misgivings regarding the International Court's decision, arguing that the ICC turns a blind eye to other global atrocities.
Meanwhile, the South African opposition party, the Economic Freedom Fighters, the EFF, has said that the Russian leader is welcome to attend the BRICS summit. Party leader Julius Malema said that Russia has always been a friend of South Africa. And right after the break, we will bring you the editorial.
Voice of Ambazonia, connecting the world from Africa with untold stories, Africa's best.
In our editorial of today, we'll take a look at an open letter to the Prime Minister of Cameroon, Chief Dion Ngute, titled Ewume Echo John alias Moja Moja will not beat us all. This is an interesting one from C saying the horrendous news and videos of the extrajudicial executive of two Southern Cameroon youths in Moya, Boya on the 16th of March 2020 by Moja Moja, real names Ewume Echo John, the French Cameroonese military self-imposed martial executor, did not come as a shock to me, Southern Cameroonians, Ambazonians. Neither can use of the pulling out and summary execution through torture by elements of the semi security militaire, headed by Bamkwi Emil Joel, of two Southern Cameroon's bright and promising students of the University of Boya, come as a surprise to us. Conrad says he knows it is no news to you, Prime Minister of Cameroon, Chief Dr. Dion Ngute. It is no news that Moja Moja has been on a hunt for innocent and unarmed civilians in southern Cameroon, especially those who hail from other counties division aside Fako County, where he hails from. It is no news that Moja Moja, in his quest to prove himself hero of evil, has massacred scores of youths in southern Cameroon's Amazonia under the guise of his Cameroonese military authority and as chief of Boassa village, Bokwango, in Fako County. It is also no news that Chief Dr. Jiang Ngute has blessed his actions and sanctioned his every killing with a silent tap on the back for a job well done. Well, C says it is no news that Chief Dion Ngute and Moja Moja are accomplices of this ongoing ethnic cleansing in his own backyard. He also says he will spare the time needed to tell the Chief Dion Ngute that enough is enough because the taking away of innocent lives and condoning extrajudicial executions and injustices is enough anytime it is committed. Only in the case of Ambazonia, it is not extrajudicial execution, but extra-colonial execution, because you in Cameroon have no authority over the people, Moja Moja, and the Cameroon's government have been killing since 2016 and de facto 1961, that is after the unfortunate annexation of southern Cameroon by France and French Cameroon. C goes on to say only in the case of Ambazonia, it is not extrajudicial execution, but extra-colonial execution, because Chief Dion Ngute and Cameroon have no authority over the people of Moja Moja, and the Cameroon's government have been killing since 2016 and de facto 1961 after the unfortunate annexation of southern Cameroon by France and French Cameroon. She goes on to say that Chief John Ngute is friends with Moja Moja, and both of the chiefs of villages in southern Cameroon and cognizant of the fact that he will listen to Chief John Ngute as his mentor on behalf of C and the thousands of southern Cameroonians and Ambazonians killed by a sadistic regime. He is penning this down in hopes that the Chief John Ngute will send the message to Moja Moja that his audacity to kill the peoples of Ambazonia will be short-lived. The retribution on him will be also for life. C is asking Chief Dr. John Ngute to tell Moja Moja that his defiance of the French Cameroon laws, which he swore an oath to as military personnel, and the international human rights law, which Cameroon has ratified, will be for a time. Our respect for the laws of Southern Cameroon and Amazonia will be forever, and he will pay, if not today, tomorrow. She goes on to say that the Chief Dr. Dion Ngute should also tell Moja Moja that the killing of our people by him, most of whom he refers to as Graffi or Bamendes, a name he is also labeled with and used as denigration of a noble and hardworking people, is firmly registered in the memories of Amazonians and will be for generations to come. C says in every possible way, Amazonians will fight back and he will pay for the actions someday. That is so close that C cannot even close his eyes to wait for it to come. He also goes on more to say, tell Moja Moja and all the chiefs and funds of Southern Cameroons who have ignored and silently supported him in his hunt for Grafis that the people he kills and refers to as strange are taking back their land from their oppressors and killers, colonial La Republic du Cameroon. That his outright rejection of and massacre of the peoples of Amazonia is a direct attack to his own future and legacy. That in as much as Amazonians know he doesn't care about his future and that of the people he is custodian to as traditional chief. Amazonians know he understands the language of the oppressed because he is also oppressed, and more, he is a personal non grata even to his proteges. C goes on to swear on Moja Moja, saying his fall shall be with so much shame and no regrets even from them whom he worked so diligently to satisfy in the evil adventure of killing his own brothers and sisters. C goes on to say to Dr. Chief Dion Ngute to tell Moja Moja that the lifeline of every man hangs from his root and depends so much on his ability to hold on to it. He has destroyed the roots of his very own existence and has become nothing but a laughing stock to those whose instructions he expressly executes. Tell Moja Moja that the blood of all Southern Cameroonians, Amazonians who have died by his hand and gone will not only haunt him, but haunt his generations, and nothing will stop it. Not even prison or the grave, which he so vehemently preaches and practices, dragging all and sundry to and from prison just because his proteges have given him a pseudo power to do so. C goes on to say, tell him that the videos he so anxiously produces, disrespecting our dead, gone by his evil hands, will chase even his ghost to the land beyond when he falls. So in this very article, C goes on to make a list of swearings to Moja Moja for the atrocities he has done on the peace-loving peoples of Ambazonia, a very lengthy one that he directs to Dr. Chief John Ngute, hoping it passes on to Moja Moja. But for now, we've come to the end of the editorial for today. As you know, our editorials are collections of articles from Ambazonian archives. This recent one from 22nd March 2023 by C. Conrad ends here. And as always, so does our editorial for today. If you want more of such interesting articles, kindly visit our website at www.abcambertv.com for more. Subscribe, become a club member, and a part of the winning strategy. Find our payment details on your screen. I'm Sir Smart. Report and phone Undaunted ABC Amba TV.
All right, thank you so much, Stersman, for that wonderful piece there. Coming up next is sports. And in sports, manager Antonio Conte has left Tottenham Hotspur by mutual consent after 16 months in charge. Conte called the Spurs players selfish and criticized the club's culture in a remarkable news conference after their recent draw at Southampton. All right, Gab Ellison has more.
Latest world sports. Football. Antonio Conte, Tottenham manager, leaves after 16 months in charge. Manager Antonio Conte has left Tottenham Hotspur by mutual consent after 16 months in charge. Conte called the sports players selfish and criticized the club's culture in a remarkable news conference after their recent draw at Southampton. Tottenham are fourth in the top flight but are out of all cup competitions. Conte's assistant Christian Stellini will step up as head coach for the rest of the season, with former midfielder Ryan Mason his deputy. We have 10 Premier League games remaining and we have a fight on our hands for a Champions League place, Chairman Daniel Levy said. We all need to pull together. Everyone has to step up to ensure the highest possible finish for a club and amazing, loyal supporters. His departure means Spurs are searching for their fourth permanent manager in 4 years since Mauricio Pochettino left in 2019. They suffered a tame exit to AC Milan in the Champions League earlier in March, after championship side Sheffield United knocked them out of the FA Cup at the start of the month. Italian Conte, who had won league titles with former club Chelsea, Juventus, and Inter Milan, was appointed in November 2021 after Spurs sacked Nuno Espirito Santo. They struggled for consistency for much of his earlier tenure before a 6-game unbeaten run, including a 3-0 win over rivals Arsenal, secured a top 4 finish. But Tottenham's troubles have continued the season with 9 defeats and 4 draws in 28 league games and questions about the playing style. Conte's Spurs were loudly booed after the 0-0 draw against Milan, which resulted in a 1-0 loss on aggregate and condemned the club to another campaign without a trophy. His last match in charge saw Tottenham throw away a 3-1 lead to draw at struggling Southampton on 18 March, with Conte launching a furious criticism of his players and the club after the match. Tottenham's story is this: 20 years there is this owner and they never won something. Why? Conte said, "Until now I try to hide the situation, but not now because I repeat, I don't want to see what I have seen today because this is unacceptable and also unacceptable for the fans." Tottenham have won once since the ownership group chaired by Levy took over the club in 2001, the League Cup in 2008, and has had 11 different managers. This season has also seen Conte requiring gallbladder surgery in February. He was absent for a victory over Manchester City on 5th February, and after briefly returning for 2 matches, missed another four games to focus on his recovery in Italy, with Stellini taking charge in his place. 3 close friends of Conte's, sports fitness coach Gianpiero Vientron, Sinisa Mihajlovic, and Gianluca Vialli, have all died in recent months. Tennis. Miami Open. Carlos Alcaraz beats Dusan Lajovic to reach last 16. World number 1 Carlos Alcaraz cruised into the last 16 of the Miami Open with victory over Dusan Lajovic. The Spanish defending champion 19 won 6-0, 7-6, 7-5 to set up a meeting with American Tommy Paul. Alcaraz, who has won 16 of 17 matches this year and has not dropped a set in his past 2 tournaments, needs to win the title to stay top of the rankings. Norwegian third seed Casper Ruud is out after a 3-6, 6-4 defeat by Dutchman Botik van de Senschop. After a number of on Saturday, there were straightforward wins for men seeds Andrei Rublev, Holger Rune, and Taylor Fritz. Russian 6th seed Rublev beat Serbia's Miromi Kekmanovic 6-1, 6-2, while Rune, the 7th seed from Denmark, won 6-4, 6-2 against Diego Schwartzman of Argentina. Rune will play Fritz in the next round after the American 9th seed beat Canadian Denis Shapovalov 6-4, 6-4. 4th seed Daniel Medvedev progressed without playing after opponent Alex Molcan withdrew from the tournament. In the women's draw, Swiss 9th seed Belinda Bencic was beaten 7-6, 10-8, 6-3 by 18th seed Ekaterina Alexandrova. Alexandrova will face Bianca Andreescu in the 4th round, following Canadian 6-4, 6-4 win over Sofia Kenin. Australian Open winner Arina Sabalenka defeated Mari Boskova 6-1, 6-2, and next place Barbara Krejcikova, who beat Madison Keys 7-6, 7-4, 6-3. Meanwhile, Wimbledon champion Elena Rybakina edged out Paula Badoza 3-6, 7-5, 6-3, but Z17 seed Karolina Pliskova lost 6-1, 6-2 to compatriot Marketa Vandrousova. Gabellison reporting from Undaunted, ABC Amba News.
All right, thank you so much, Gab Ellison. And with that sports report, we've come to the end of Undaunted tonight. But before we go, let's take a look at our major stories.
Tonight on Undaunted, we gave you the crime wave gains ground in La Republic to Cameroon's political capital, Yaoundé. Also, the Presbyterian church pastor who got struck to death by lightning in Bouy County. And the 5 students in Amba captivity for almost 2 months in Bouy County.
All right, also today we know that Ambazonians adapt comfortably with Monday goes down. And in sports, Tottenham manager leaves after 16 months in charge. And that was it for tonight on Don't Chat, bringing to the news on church stories. On behalf of Michael Anchors Dasmat and the entire Don't Chat crew, we say thank you for tuning in.
We'll leave you with ABC Amber TV images. Good night and God bless you.